So here we are, Hollywood Talk. We with my man Roy Woods Jr. And I don't know where I want to start this conversation. I mean, of course, you got the show on TBS, and we're gonna get to that. But you're Alabama. You're a Bama boy. Let's talk some college football right now.
You know what? Look, it's not my fault the state of Alabama keep whooping the rest of the country's behind. All right, don't get mad at me. I tell people I'm from Alabama. You know, Alabama and Auburn have won the last 3 national titles, and everybody, well, all y'all do is football. So we do it. Real talk. I think the University of Alabama can beat the Cleveland Browns, the Miami Dolphins, and the Oakland Raiders. But at least play them good for 3 quarters. That's just a guess.
I don't know if people can make much of an argument against that right now, especially how Oakland got trounced. We're not gonna keep that out. But we in the land of USC. I mean, what do you think about Bama's chance this year? They look like they've been rolling over everybody so far.
You know, Alabama's good, man. But you know, college football. The problem, what I love and what I hate about college football is that anybody can win on any given day. It'd be smack attack junior college, and they beat Michigan by 40. So I'll say this much: I don't really care about USC. The quarterback, all USC's quarterbacks too pretty. You can't be handsome and be good at football. It just don't work like that. Look at all of USC's quarterbacks that's in the pros now. Carson Palmer, garbage. Mark Sanchez up there at the Jets, garbage.
Tebow.
Yeah, Tebow. Yeah, Jesus finna take him off the sticks. So you know, like it's just USC is nice to look good, but I think if you really want football, you got to go to the South. It's a lot of oppression down south, a lot of racism. That's why them black players be good, because they frustrated, you know? That's why they run over people.
So let's talk about
good football comes from racist parts of the country. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Is that if you really want good football, you got to go to places where these players been hated on, spit on, they've been pinched and punched in high school by other racist opponents.
Yeah.
And they get to college, I'll show y'all, and then they ball out of control. That's why ain't no good football in Oregon. They fast. Oregon have a decent team, but then, you know, they play a real team that been through some trials and tribulations. Some of that, remember the Titans, Denzel stuff? That's what you want.
That's what happens every year at the national championship.
You know, racism in Montana. That's why there's no good football. There's no black people.
Yeah.
That's just the law. I don't make these laws, man. I just report them.
Well, let's talk about Sullivan Son, man. I mean, this show is unique in a couple of ways. I mean, it does bring back a little bit of that Cheers flavor because a lot of it's going on in this bar, and it seems like you're comfortable drinking in there. But but it's a new feel to these sitcoms to me. I mean,
what I believe, Vince Vaughn, who's the executive producer on the project, he wanted to recreate the feel of just where people go and hang out, you know. And what I appreciate about the show is that they don't pull punches. The type of jokes that they crack on the show, be it race or anything indecent, I think it's all in line with what you would talk about with your buddies while you're at some spot, the Applebee's or Chili's or whatever, watching the game. And they did do a great job of recreating that feel. It's just what it would be like to chill at a bar in a blue-collar town. Cheers was set in Boston, the show is set in Pittsburgh. I think the one difference, though, and what they're able to recreate now is the type of America in which we exist now, which is far more racially diverse. Steve Byrne, who's the lead, he's Korean American. You know, you have an Arab or two on the show. There's myself. There's just a lot of diversity, a lot more diversity than you saw on Cheers back in Boston, which may have been a fair representation of Boston in the 80s. But I think what this show is doing now is a far more fair representation of America as a whole. You have that many different things all meeting in one place at a bar, the punchlines and the jokes write themselves.
The friendships must be tight too, because I mean, we all know Vince Vaughn for all those bromance movies and everything else, and I'm thinking like if he's executive producer on this, I'm sure like the friendships have a lot of depth to him also.
Yeah, well, the one common bond I have with Vince Vaughn is that he and I are both Chicago Cubs fans, so we both depressed. Yeah. So we both drink a lot because the Cubs.
Cubs ain't never gonna be good, bro.
I know, man. I know, but I
why don't y'all go to grips with it, man?
I just try to keep hope alive. But you know, with that type of cast, when it's that many people, you have to get along. It's impossible to be around that many different personalities and there to not be a clash or two. But ultimately, there has to be just straight up real friendship. And myself and all of the cast members, we kick it between shows. We kick it on off weeks between production and all of that stuff. So I think what they really did a great job of was creating a real friendship vibe between everybody offset so that it comes out naturally on camera when we're on set. It's very easy.
Well, how did this fall on your lap? I mean, I know you've been doing stand-up comedy for a while. I remember you on Def Comedy Jam some years ago.
Yeah.
You know, can you talk about that whole experience of going from doing your stand-ups, you know, being recognized by more people to now, you know, being on a sitcom?
You know, it's definitely a different transition going from stand-up to acting, but you know, I've been doing stand-up since '98 and was blessed enough to meet Steve Byrne at a couple of comedy festivals that I've done. So, you know, he and I have always had a professional respect for one another. So when this project came around and he had an opportunity to start bringing people in for the networks and the studio to look at, to decide who to cast in the role, my name was on the list. And so I went in and auditioned, and that began the process. I mean, you go in, I auditioned, I'd say 3, maybe 4 times for the role before they finally gave it to me. And, you know, that's just a matter of just working hard, and you just hope for the right breaks and the right opportunities, because there's only so much. That's the thing about LA. There's only so much of this you can control yourself, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's the problem that I think most comedians have with acting, is that with comedy, the rules are simple. If I write funny jokes and I go on stage and I be funny, eventually I will get money and a great regular life on the road, supporting myself and my family. But when you start entering into acting, you can go to acting class, you can lift weights, you can get in shape, you can get a coach, you can do everything you need to do. But if they don't like you, they like someone else, there's nothing you can do to control that. There's nothing you can do to control not being chosen. Being funny is not all it is. But, you know, thankfully the people at TBS thought otherwise, and they gave me an opportunity. And that's, you take this and run with it, and then you go right back out on the road.
Don't forget to click on one of the arrows to see our most commented videos.
Good cop, bad cop, right here.
Well, I just want to say, how's the foot?
Good. My foot is, you see what I'm wearing, right? So they must be okay.
Okay, they must be okay. Because everybody talked about the foot with this production. It's like the foot, the most famous foot ever.